هُوَ الَّذِي يُرِيكُمُ الْبَرْقَ خَوْفًا وَطَمَعًا. It is He who shows you the lightning with fear as well as hope also. Maybe some rain is coming in our fields, they are dry, so the harvest will be good. But maybe some storm is coming. Whenever there is this, هُوَ الَّذِي يُرِيكُمُ الْبَرْقَ, when there is lightning and thunder, actually He shows you the lightning with fear as well as hope. وَيُنْشِئُ السَّحَابَ الثِّقَالَ, and it is He who brings up the heavy clouds. وَيُسَبِّحُ الرَّعْدُ بِحَمْدِهِ, and this thunderbolt, this actually glorifies Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with His praise. وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ مِنْ خِيفَتِهِ, and all the angels also, out of awe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they also glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with His praise. وَيُرْسِلُ الصَّوَاعِقَ, and He sends the thunderbolts, فَيُصِيبُ بِهَا مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيُجَادِلُونَ فِي اللَّهِ, and then He inflicts with that thunderbolt and lightning anyone whom He likes. وَهُمْ يُجَادِلُونَ فِي اللَّهِ, and they are disputing and arguing about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَهُوَ شَدِيدُ الْمِحَالِ, and He is severe in punishment. لَهُ دَعْوَةُ الْحَقِّ. Now these words can be interpreted in two ways. لَهُ دَعْوَةُ الْحَقِّ, for Him is the true prayer, the effective prayer. If you are praying Him, actually your prayers will be heard. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the power to grant them. But if you are praying to anybody else, all your prayers are going in vain. Nobody to answer, nobody has the power to accept and deliver you from the difficulties in which you are praying Allah. And secondly, all that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling you for is the truth. Because we have read, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَاللَّهُ يَدْعُو إِلَىٰ دَارِ السَّلَامِ, He also calls people إِلَىٰ دَارِ السَّلَامِ, to the house, towards the house of peace. لَهُ دَعْوَةُ الْحَقِّ وَالَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِهِ لَا يَسْتَجِيبُونَ لَهُمْ بِشَيْءٍ. And as for those deities whom they are praying and calling, leaving Him aside, they are not actually, they cannot answer their calls, they cannot accept their prayers. إِلَّا كَبَاسِطٍ كَفَّيْهِ إِلَى الْمَاءِ, and their similitude is to a person who stretches out his hands for water. Now just imagine if there is a deep well, there is water in it, and you want to stretch your hand to get the water, لِيَبْلُغَ فَاهُ, so that this water should reach his mouth. وَمَا هُوَ بِبَالِغِهِ, but actually the hand cannot reach that water, and that water cannot reach the mouth. وَمَا دُعَاءُ الْكَافِرِينَ إِلَّا فِي ضَلَالٍ. All the prayers of these unbelievers and disbelievers go in vain. They are just lost, because nobody is there to accept these prayers and to answer these prayers. وَلِلَّهِ يَسْجُدُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ طَوْعًا وَكَرْهًا. And to Allah prostrates everything which is in the heaven and which is in the earth, willingly or unwillingly. Not only all these things, even their shades and their shadows, they also, وَزِلَالُهُمْ بِالْغُدُوِّ وَالْآصَالِ, in the morning and the evenings. Now it's a very beautiful word picture. There is a tree standing. What happens when the sun rises on the east? You find that there is a shadow, very long shadow, lying down on the ground. Now as the sun is going up, this shadow is contracting towards that tree, as if it is coming up. And when it is noon, it is up, no shadow. Then now again, when the sun goes to the west, again a shadow. And it is becoming longer and longer and longer, as if now it is prostrating to the east. So actually the shadows are also making sajda to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the morning, they were making sajda towards the west. In the evenings, they are making sajda towards the east. Now this is ayatul sajda, we have also to prostrate. قُلْ مَنْ رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Ask them, who is the Lord of the heavens and the earth? قُلِ اللَّهِ. And you yourself tell them, Allah. قُلْ أَفَاتَّخَذْتُم مِّن دُونِهِ أَوْلِيَاءَ. Now if He is the Lord of all the heavens and the earth, how does it come? How come you have taken besides Him protectors? لَا يَمْلِكُونَ لِأَنفُسِهِمْ نَفْعًا وَلَا ضَرًّا. You have taken them as your protectors, although they don't have the power for even themselves, for anything beneficial or for anything which is harmful. قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الْأَعْمَى وَالْبَصِيرُ. Ask them, can the blind and the seeing people be equal? أَمْ هَلْ تَسْتَوِي الظُّلُمَاتُ وَالنُّورُ. Or can the light and the darknesses be equal? أَمْ جَعَلُوا لِلَّهِ شُرَكَاءَ خَلَقُوا كَخَلْقِهِ فَتَشَابَهَ الْخَلْقُ عَلَيْهِمْ. Have they accepted with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala associates who have created something? And now, because they have also created something like the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, now they are confused regarding the creation. Which is the creation of Allah and which is the creation of anybody else. But because I told you many times that these people, these kuffar and mushrikeen of Arabia, they believed that the creation all belongs to Allah. They will say, لَيَقُولُنَّ اللَّهِ. If you ask them, who created all the heaven and the earth? They will certainly say Allah. فَأَنَّىٰ تُؤْفَكُونَ. So actually what they believed was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the all-powerful Allah, He is one, He is alone, and He created all the universe. But there are smaller gods and goddesses. They can be of help to us in the hereafter, on the day of judgment. They will intercede for us. And they can take us closer and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they wanted to please them also, to offer them some sacrifices also. That was the shirk. Otherwise they didn't think that Allah has created half of the world and the rest of the half of this universe has been created by anybody else. No. وَلِلَّهُ خَالِقُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Tell them, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah is the creator of everything. وَهُوَ الْوَاحِدُ الْقَهَّارُ. And He is the one, the omnipotent, the irresistible.